Welcome to another edition of Eye on Jamz Extra. And I have with me the father-son duo, Fred and Adam, make up Postmodern Gypsies. Gentlemen, welcome to the program and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So obviously father and son, but how did you two decide to get together to perform and work under Postmodern Gypsies?
Well, he made me start playing again.
Oh, blame it on the son.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I kind of had given up music for a bit, and he started bugging me about playing again. I bought another guitar, and we put together little YouTube video or Facebook videos, and it progressed from there.
So why did you give up music?
Sometimes it's not too fun. It depends. It depends on who you work with and how you get along. You spend a lot of time together, and there's a lot of creative differences in music. And I got tired of it, and I had 2 young kids too.
So how long were you out of music?
We were Adam and I were just
talking about that.
Yeah, we just have 20 years maybe.
So Adam, what was the inspiration to try to get your father back into the music scene, to doing music?
I think he kind of saw what Neil and I were doing, and I remember I had him come down when we were mixing Oil Fire, so he came down to the studio to kind of be a part of that. And then I think he got kind of excited about music again. And I remember he called me up and he had bought a nice guitar, and I kind of came over and then we started playing together. And man, it just kind of went from there. It just went to having fun and then starting to really work and arrange, these contemporary jazz songs.
Why jazz? Why did you choose that genre?
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
It's the least popular. I mean, it rates below classical, and so it's an easier road to go if nobody likes what you do anyway. It's easier to do. You're used to the criticism.
Jazz.
Yeah. So and it's contemporary. There's a lot of pop in it too, but. The pop market is so hard to make it in, and I kind of got older and didn't want to play rock or pop, so I gravitated toward jazz. I like the genre.
Was that a genre you were playing earlier before you gave up music?
No, no, I had. A long time ago, I worked for Motown Records for a lot of years, and as a writer, and then I produced some bands in L.A., and then I had an ASCAP publishing license, and so I went to pretty much the full route. I wrote some things for NBC, and did a lot of jingles, commercials. So, and then I played the Muscatoli circuit, and where I made the money.
What bands did you work with?
Well, there was two bands in LA that I worked with. We actually put out 2 or 3 records, and we did it at a great studio. We had it was the record plant in LA. And we were in the middle room. Toto was in one room, and Jefferson Starship was in the other. And we were always hoping that we would be, everybody out there would think we were Toto, but we weren't. So, I tried classical guitar for a bit, and I had Adam and my daughter Lindsay, young and growing up, and I was spending a lot of weekends sleeping. I'd play during Friday night and Saturday night I'd sleep all day Saturday and Sunday, and lost track of what they were doing, and decided to be a father and hang in there.
So does your daughter play music?
She plays piano. She was pretty good at piano. We have our old piano right behind us. I don't know if you can see it, but
it was my great grandmother's piano. And actually, for a gift, Neil had a tune for us, and found out the strings were from 1938. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So any thought of adding your sister to the group?
No.
No. That was a pretty quick no.
Yeah,
that was.
She's pretty busy with the 3 grandsons. So, so no.
So Adam, what's it like working with your dad in this capacity? Working with your dad, producing music and creating music?
It's a lot of fun. When I was younger, he was the one that I kind of learned from. He taught me, how to play. I kind of watched him and kind of watched and learned, and so it's kind of nice for it to come full circle again. And now we're writing and arranging music and doing all the tracking and just having a lot of fun with it. It's actually a blast.
You've released a couple singles. Any plans to do a full album?
I think we would love to, or at least like an EP. We were talking about this earlier. Once we got going, COVID happened. It kind of slowed down, and we're not the only ones that's happened to, all acts and bands. So we're hoping that everything starts to kind of open up and we get right back at it again. As a matter of fact, he was over the other day working out a new idea. So, yeah, I think we have some plans. I like the singles, but I'd like to put something together at some point.
How many additional songs have you worked on that you have not recorded to release to the public?
We've done a lot of Facebook videos, and I think at one time we had a pretty large following, and so we have a lot of bits and pieces. We would do like 60-second this and that, and we could piece them together. So that there is enough music sitting around that we have done, and we've got new ideas. And I've been working on a new song. It goes a little bit more into the jazz genre, a little bit more than the pop. So it's kind of heading that way a little bit.
Now, Adam, you have mentioned Neil, so I'm going to have to
Right.
bring that up. You also are in another duel with Neil, in the duel Neil&Adam, and you have released several singles under that name with Neil. So talk about that duo.
So that's I guess more pop orientated. We're more indie pop, I guess you'd call it. We're really excited about our latest single, Bright Light. We're doing very well with that, with the Spotify and iTunes, and it's we knew it was going to be good, and we definitely had high hopes, but we were very happy with how people are responding to it. And it's been exciting to see that. And kind of like my situation with my dad, same with Neil, we want to get going again and start cutting more tracks and being a little bit more active.
I know you can't go into all the gory details, but it's been a long road coming for that single to come out. You and I have talked about it. In fact, you let me hear a demo of it several years ago.
Oh, yeah. It was, I think at the end of it, it all worked out. Now, I'm not going to lie, it was frustrating for a while. We got lucky to work with Mike Rogers up in, Connecticut. We went up there and tracked it. I guess our initial demo we cut here, he got a chance to hear it. And we were lucky to work with him. He's done a lot of, gold and platinum records, and he was a great producer, worked us to death. But, we went and cut it with him, and then it kind of got put on hold for a while. And, I know we were kind of talking, we went back and forth. We were always kind of talking and, doing revisions and different things like that. Finally we had a product, and we had to wait. We had to wait a long time. But we were always involved in the whole production. So a couple of things came back here to St. Louis, and Neil had to do a couple of things in the studio here and then have that track go back to Connecticut. But Yeah, it was a long ordeal, but we're happy with the result.
It's a fantastic song. If you've not heard it, I encourage people to search out Neil and Adam's Bright Light. Fantastic song. It was well worth the wait, at least to me, to hear the final product compared to what you had me listen to or allowed me to listen to several years ago.
Yeah, no, that was that in Starbucks, right? That was
Yeah, it was a Starbucks parking lot in your car.
Right. Yeah, that was that song came a long way, but we're happy. And I guess, like anything, it was worth the wait.
And you and Neil have been longtime friends. How long have you been friends?
Oh man, since high school. As a matter of fact, I'm here at my parents' house now. Neil's just right up the street. Yeah, so we kind of lived together or lived near each other, grew up together, and God, so many days riding down in my parents' basement, just day and night riding. So a lot of music at this house.
How much have you learned since you started working with your father?
A lot. I've learned a lot. Some of the stuff that he arranges and composes, like, I got to learn it. It's kind of a different style for me sometimes. So it takes me a minute, but once I get it, I'm like, wow, I know something new now. And then I can kind of take that and roll with it. Cause a lot of these chords are a little bit more, jazzy than a lot of stuff that we do in pop music. So it'll take me a minute to get the voicings down and all that, but definitely learned a lot about composing music and different styles.
And Fred, how different is it for you today doing music than it was 20, 30 years ago when you were doing it?
It's a lot less hectic, more enjoyable. And unfortunately, like most of the, if you watch, the YouTube things, all these great musicians and groups suffer the same fate as we do. It's tough to get back on the horse again. We were worried about the studio, our engineers, our mixers, and but working with Adam it's a lot more relaxing. Neither one of us, are commanding or take the lead. We even everything up. He plays almost everything you hear, and I do a lot of the composing. But that all intermingles with we do the best we can for the song.
And how different for you is the music business itself today than 20, 30 years ago?
Well, there is no business.
Very true.
Yeah, there really isn't. Years ago, the A&R people would throw money at you. They were willing to sign. Now the A&R people, after any of them left, do better by not signing you than by signing you, because they won't take the hit if it's not a successful record. So yeah, the money's not there. I don't know. I guess the last Grammys kind of I thought was a little distasteful, and I'm a big Steely Dan fan, and these guys spent 30 years of making great music, and then all of a sudden some really bad stuff has been coming out, and I go, well, that doesn't help the image.
Now, you do like the production, though. It's a little easier in the studio now.
Oh yeah. Pro Tools and Logic and all that. You can fix it in the mix.
I haven't watched the Grammys in probably 10 or 15 years, so I couldn't even tell you what the shows look like anymore.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last one. I've seen excerpts of it, and well, it's not what Alan and I do.
Well, what is up next for Postmodern Gypsies?
Well, we just started working on some stuff this week. Yeah, Adam and I have not been together too much because of COVID. I just got my final 2 shots, so I feel better. and we got ideas, and hopefully our studio is still around that we use here in St. Louis, and the different people that it's just two of us, so we need to have like sax players, and our keyboard player lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
How Go ahead, Adam.
There was just so much talent here that we got to work with too in St. Louis, which was really cool to pull everybody together. But yeah, the piano player on Remembering Tomorrow, he's actually out of Los Angeles, and he did a phenomenal job. But yeah, a lot of talent here that we're trying to kind of bring together also.
Is there any hopes of doing some live shows later on in 2021?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think we kind of like the studio, writing in the studio, and then putting out, releasing music, and just having fun. I mean, so it's the same with Neil and myself, like Neil and Adam. Like, we love the studio and we love the writing process. Playing live is great too. I mean, it really is, but there's magic when you write and record.
A funny story about that. Adam and Neil and Adam did a concert here in St. Louis, and I played bass on it. Well, everybody else was standing, but I was in a chair, and I think everybody wanted to know what that old man was doing back there.
No, you did a great job, though.
Well, I think you just jumped on stage and just started playing. You weren't part of the group.
I'm lucky I made it on stage.
Well, Adam, I have to ask you, what's coming up next for Neil and Adam?
Same thing, writing and recording. We got to jump on that as soon as possible. So hopefully in the next month, like, I'll be pretty busy doing jazz projects with my dad, and then also Neil and Adam music. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing on both ends. It's like my dad was kind of saying earlier, like how we have all these different ideas. They're kind of, all put in a file somewhere, and then we go back and revisit them. It's the same with Neil and I. It's a lot of stuff that we kind of already know what we're going to dive into next before we, actually do it. So, which is nice when you've been playing for a long time and writing together with somebody.
Well, even working with your father or working with Neil, how do you determine a song is done? How do you determine there's nothing more to add to that song?
It goes by feeling. Like, when you feel it, like, a lot of times I'll be listening, or we'll be listening for, just like that perfect mix. And, there's never going to be anything perfect, but like, I kind of go by feel, like how it kind of makes me feel. And when it sounds like it's as close to perfect as possible, that's, because you don't want to beat it to death either. You'll go crazy. I've done it. You've done it. Neil's done it. Yeah, you go crazy trying to beat, a mix to death. But, yeah, basically how it makes me feel, and the sound.
It is possible to overthink a song, right? Overplay a song, over try to perfect it.
Right.
Especially in a studio, you have all those toys to play with, that you can overproduce something, and you lose the initial idea because you turn into a crazy producer and start adding bongos and violins and cellos,
all sorts of stuff that doesn't make sense,
that you never had originally planned for.
And plus, I think you want to stick to kind of the idea, the concept that you had going into it, or at least during the writing process. With Remembering Tomorrow, the vibe that we kind of wanted to put forward was like, what would it sound like just if a handful of musicians got in a studio and just started to play? What would that sound like on a record? Just something that was kind of in between, like, too produced and live, and kind of get that kind of sound where it's like in between both. And I think we definitely nailed that, where it's just, it doesn't have that overproductive or production kind of sound, but it's also sounds kind of impromptu and live in a way.
Yeah, that was always my thought, almost the same as Adam. I always pictured that when I was writing it. We were trading files back and forth with Gary out in Los Angeles. And I always thought it to be like a New York City piano bar that some of his buddies came in and jammed with him. Kind of that improv type thing. without all the modern conveniences, of a studio. And I think we're successful that way. Now, our first record, Urban Pastoral, was produced. There's not a moment of breath in the song. And, we might have overproduced, but we got great reception. It was played in Africa, Germany, Spain. We got from all over the United States. We did an interview in England not too long ago.
Well, and then here, like there's a college radio station here, WSIU The Sound. They're playing it, so that was great. So yeah, definitely gotten some great feedback with some of the singles that we have.
When you two got together, did you expect or hope for this kind of reception?
I don't know.
Or was it more of just a hobby type thing you were thinking it was going to be?
Yeah. I mean, I went into it like that. Adam pushed me a little harder. And he, I think
those kids.
Yeah, they do that all the time to us old guys. But I think he had a better feel for the music than I did. And I think he liked what we were doing. And he actually suggested, now let's take it to the studio. And, I was a little apprehensive at first, but we got some good players, good engineers, and a great owner of a studio that we think we remember each other when we were young, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And Keith Urban did part of his record there. So,
it's a great studio.
Yeah, the Fighter or whatever it was. Yeah. And so we hope it's still around.
I think it is. It just may be under new management.
Yeah. So I hope they didn't raise the price on us.
Fred, Adam, if people want to learn more about Postmodern Gypsies, where can they go?
I guess probably the easiest place to go would just be our YouTube channel, which is just Postmodern Gypsies. It's one word. And that would probably be the easiest place to go. We've got our singles on there and just more, information there.
And Adam, if people want to learn more about Neil and Adam?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it would Facebook, Neil and Adam Music. That's a great place to go. Pretty much have everything on Facebook there. So, and we have a YouTube channel too, Neil and Adam Music.
Yeah,
Fred and Adam.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Fred and Adam, Postmodern Gypsies. I want to thank you very much for taking time this evening to do this interview and be a part of the program.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Well,
definitely appreciate it.
From the great state of Texas now.
That's right. Yeah. I miss my Emo's pizza though.
All right.
We were just talking about that.
Hey, we can send you some.
You can actually say if you want some, we can send it to you. There is something they have on their website.
Yeah.
You know me, I don't want to turn down Emo's pizza. I want to thank you guys very much. Wishing you much success and cannot wait to hear more music, not only from Postmodern Gypsies, but also from Neil and Adam over the months and years to come.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
We had a good time tonight. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Please join me on the radio show. You can find out broadcast days and times by going to Eye on Jamz Facebook page.